Danganronpa. Oh my god. Sorry that took a bit. I was like... I made a bowl of soup. Cause I was like, I'm still hungry, and there's like leftover beef stew, right? And then... I was like, I'm gonna be reading. I need some, like, tea. So that's what happened. That is what happened. Hello! Everybody that has joined. Hello, Devin. Hello. My love. I'm hoping the tea's hot enough, but it's not really hot enough. It's hot enough to drink. And the tea is hot, but it's not hot enough to stay hot. And then I got beef stew. Beef stew with rice. Beef stew is cold though. Kinda cold. So we're kinda just gonna like bounce on in here. Cause you know, why not? Whew. But hello! Welcome to my stream! Hope you guys all enjoy it. I'm dying. Anyway. I'm having a... Yeah, clean up my desk. Yeah, clean up a lot. Anyway. Let's go! Computer rooms, innermost area, Monokuma room. I believe if I remember last time, Junko was just like, goodbye, sister. And then, freaking... What? Mukusa? Ikusaba? I forgot her fucking name. Mukuro, there we go. I was like, oh no, my sister is saying goodbye to me. And stuff like that. Kreskoa, thank you for the 9 months. We just had a baby. Whoa. We had a Twitch baby. Whoa. Thank you. But yeah, what else was there? Yeah, there was like Mikusaba, Mukuro, Junko, no longer like meh. They're against each other. Mukuro wants to give the ultimate despair to Junko. Because that's what she wants. The baby is twitching. No, it's a Twitch baby. Anyway. And then I guess we're gonna save Makoto somehow. And Kyoko was revealed of who she was before. And like, you know, what happened. So hopefully nobody dies. But we'll see.
How much time had passed? The surveillance cameras at the gates were capturing footage of countless Monokumas falling at the hands of a child who fought like a raging demon. The Monokumas bolstered their numbers, and now 100 of them were trying to sink their claws into Mukuro. Most of them were running on autopilot, reacting to her movements based on prior information they had received in advance. But despite standing before hundreds of mechanical adversaries, Mukuro's face showed no fear. She hadn't sustained a single injury, giving a presence that was nearly divine to behold. Though Sakura Ogami was powerful enough to injure her arm, Mukuro in her current state could potentially fight Sakura to a draw now, without relying on firearms. Whew. She took complete control of the battlefield, taking in her surroundings as if they were a part of herself. She dodged attacks from the rear as though she had eyes on the back of her head, and stabbed through Monokuma's weak points with her metal bar. No matter where the attacks came from, Mukuro deflected them all as if all her skin were covered in eyes.
Ooh, I need some tea. I got some green tea too.
Describing her as ultimate no longer did her justice. Mukuro had transcended the boundaries of humanity and becoming a pure killing machine. But despite that, even though she understood the ludicrous power her sister possessed, Junko was not afraid. She felt not one iota of fear. After all Junko can feel is despair. She even started to admire her sister's attempt to fill her with despair, but that sentiment quickly filled Junko with an orgiastic orgastic ecstasy of despair. Junko knew. She knew that Makuro was neither hope nor despair. She was just a phenomenon. A disappointing girl who no longer understood herself, who only knew how to be violent because it was all she could believe in anymore. Makuro had become an avatar of destruction beyond that of any military force. She couldn't even be considered a soldier anymore. She was a natural disaster like a typhoon or a tornado. Or perhaps, like gravity, she was now a fundamental force of the universe that only existed to bring despair to Junko. The mastermind enjoyed watching her sister go all out. If Makuro destroyed everything and ruined her life, Junko would still be comforted by the despair. She could just go right ahead and overpower her. Junko considered this for a few seconds until a familiar, hopeless habit reared its head. Her habit of getting so bored that it made her sick. The girl who had been grinning as she watched the screen now bore a look of calm stoicism, and she reached for the microphone connected to Monokuma's speakers. Makuro was no longer human anymore, but Junko knew how to bring her back. It was a simple feeling, really, and with that hopeless feeling for Makuro in mind, the mastermind said just one word.
Makuro? Nope, I got like booped on my phone. Actually, you know what? I should probably put my phone on quiet. It's gonna be just like screaming at my face. First, I'm gonna go over here. 8 hours up. Da-da. And then we're hiding. Okay. Put that on silent. I'm gonna take some tea too. Because my poor throat. I think I'm catching a cold, which sucks. Ow. In front of the main entrance. Makuro?
That voice. It was calling her name. Instead of using Monokuma's voice filter, Junko's natural voice was coming out of a Monokuma unit. Ooh.
That's all it took.
With one word, Makuro Ikusaba stopped being a force of nature and became a person again. Monokuma would not miss this opportunity. As if moving to the beat of Makuro's shaking heart, a torrent of claws leaped to attack her. But Makuro trusted her instincts and twisted her entire body to fend off the attacks, leaving her with only a few scrapes here and there. But the despair wasn't over yet. The ultimate despair didn't waste any time making her next move. Makuro, watch out! Huh? As soon as Makuro heard that voice, her mind went completely blank. There was no mistaking it. Oh shit, that was Makoto's scream. A scream that saved her from the spears of Gungnir and changed her destiny. No, that's wrong. It took her 1/10 of a second to realize that voice was just a sound clip that Junko had replayed, but it was more than enough time to drag Makuro, who had regained her humanity, into despair. Right when she recovered from a moment of shock, Monokuma appeared behind her and roundhouse kicked her in the temple. She twisted her head to roll with the blow, but at that moment, a different Monokuma attacked her from the opposite side with a headbutt. And as soon as Makuro dodged that attack, 3 Monokumas launched simultaneously, drop kicks, and knocked her to the ground. The fact that they weren't using their claws meant they weren't trying to kill Makuro right away. Before she could stand up again, dozens of Monokumas waiting for her on the floor climbed on top of Makuro and pinned her limbs. One of the Monokumas waddled over to Makuro as she lay face down on the floor and laughed.
A pretty girl getting pinned by all of these knees. I wonder if I should feel more excited about this. Don't make that face. If I wanted to kill you, I'll just pump you full of bullets right now. But I don't think the audience watching this on TV would like that very much. Or like that ending very much. I'm gonna make sure I do it the right way this time.
What are you planning to do with me? Makuro asked in her emotionless voice. Monokuma gofled.
Gofled?
Yep, and answered.
Nothing. I'm just gonna stick to the original plan and make you play the killing game at the school. I'll erase everyone's memories again, and I'll just make them redo the introduction and the entrance ceremony again.
In typical Monokuma fashion, he leaned his face toward Makuro.
But it'd be boring if we had to redo everything. Maybe this time, I'll have you participate as Makuro Ikusaba. I'll take away even more of your memories like I did to that irritating detective girl. You'll just be a poor little girl with no memory at all.
As Monokuma talked and wiggled his body from side to side, the other Monokumas danced and twirled around. Amid this fantastical scene, Monokuma continued to describe his hopeless plan in a nonchalant manner.
At first, you'll be the girl with the amnesia, and everyone will feel so sorry for you. But as they unravel the mystery of this academy, they'll find out who you really are. It's exciting to think how they'll treat you when that happens. Knowing you, you'll probably kill someone purely on instinct. Maybe I should rethink my rules about self-defense. Woohoo!
You can't. Her memories would be erased. There was nothing she could do about her classmates hating her, but losing even her childhood memories would mean her connection to Junko would be severed as well. Even if Makuro had no interest in the world, that was unbearable even for her.
I've heard of New Game Plus before, but this is the first time I'll get to see a New Game Minus. Should I tie you up fun? Or maybe we should make this game even more masochistic. Forget hard mode, very hard mode, and inferno mode. Want to skip ahead to impossible mode? Maybe I'll erase your memories after I drag you on a motorcycle, pummel you with 1,000 baseballs, burn you at the stake, and crush you with an excavator.
Makuro knew what Monokuma was talking about. He was describing the tools they had prepared for the various executions they had planned for the students.
After everyone reintroduces themselves, they'll walk around the school grounds and eventually find a flat-chested girl with amnesia, covered in bandages with Fenrir's tattoo in her right hand. I'd bet a certain fanbase might get off on that. If this were a game, that would increase sales by 500%.
Though Monokuma sounded like he was joking, everything he said was deadly serious. As evidence, Makuro heard a rumbling sound off in the distance.
Now then, your sweet ride is on its way.
Based on the engine's noise, Makuro surmised that it was the large motorcycle that was supposed to be used for one of the executions.
I took the time to bring this all the way from the punishment room, so you better be grateful.
The sound of the roaring engine grew louder and louder, like the approaching footsteps of death. Makuro wondered how Monokuma would drive it with such tiny arms and legs, but then she remembered she was dealing with an ultimate despair. Junko would make the impossible possible, just to bring about despair. A despair that went hand in hand with Makuro's fate. Did I fail? I couldn't fill Junko with despair? I couldn't save Makoto and the others. Questions raced through Makuro's mind, but she wasn't able to answer them. There's no way she could have answered them so easily. After all, she was still alive. The sound of the motorcycle grew closer and closer, as if it was threatening to break Makuro's spirit. Suddenly, Monokuma stopped moving. The other Monokumas continued doing their automatic movements. As this strange event unfolded, Makuro noticed something. The motorcycle had suddenly gone quiet. After a few seconds, the engine exploded to life and began to approach even faster than before. Only a few seconds later, what appeared in front of the main entrance was an enormous motorcycle that plowed through groups of Monokumas like a predator hunting its prey. The rider of this motorcycle was none other than Mundo Owada.
What?
Makuro and Monokuma are both visibly shocked by this turn of events. Instead of addressing them, Mundo accelerated the motorcycle he stole from Monokuma directly towards Makuro. Just before his front tire touched Makuro, he popped a reverse wheelie and turned the entire motorcycle around. The back wheel swept over Makuro's back, knocking away all the Monokumas that were pinning her. "Hey, can you stand?" Mundo asked, and begrudgingly offered his hand to Makuro. Confused, Makuro took his hand and stood up. "What are you doing, Mundo? Are we so close?"
Yeah.
Oops!
What are you doing, Mundo? I was so close.
One of the Monokumas protested, not in his normal voice, but as the hacker. Bisheki Madarai. Oh yeah? You're Bisheki or whatever, right?
That's right. Why are you helping a terrorist?
I ain't bragging about this or anything, but I have no clue if you or this girl is lying. The veins in his temple began to bulge, and his cheeks flushed with anger as Mundo said, but still, I ain't the type to just stand around while some idiot gangs up on a girl.
What are you saying? Get a hold of yourself. You must be experiencing Stockholm Syndrome.
Ooh, I need to heat up this tea again.
You've deluded yourself into thinking you're friends with the criminal who's taken you hostage.
Monokuma tried to explain to Mundo, but he ignored him, took Makuro's hand and pulled her onto the back of the motorcycle. Oh, shut the fuck up. I don't know nothing about Stockholms or syndromes, but don't go acting like you can boss me around. As Mundo shouted, he revved the motorcycle as if he was using it to punctuate his words. The ceiling-mounted turrets began moving, but the two disappeared before the turrets could take aim at the motorcycle. As they zoomed through the hallway, countless Monokumas chased after them, waving their claws widely through the air. Why? Asked Makuro. Huh? Shouted Mundo. His voice was even louder than the sound of the engine. Don't get the wrong idea. I don't trust you at all. He lowered his voice slightly, as if he were whispering to himself. But still, I don't know why, but I felt like I could trust what he said. He? Inquired Makuro. But there was no time for questions. The unit leading the Monokumas chasing after the motorcycle had almost caught up to them, and then, like the enormous maw of some fearsome creature, they brandished their claws in a perfect unison. At that moment, the motorcycle zoomed by a certain girl, a girl whose fighting ability surpasses that of any normal human, the strongest girl on Earth. With a fighting spirit that defied comprehension, the ultimate martial artist kicked off the floor. A sound even louder than the motorcycle's engine filled the room. When Makuro looked back, she saw Sakura landing on the floor, sending the pack of Monokumas flying several meters away. Sakura? If she heard Makuro mumble her name, Sakura didn't acknowledge it. Ooh! Like a statue of fearsome god king. She calmed her breathing as she stood before the pack of Monokumas, ready for battle. Her pursuit methods seemed unbecoming for one who claims to be the ultimate hacker. An overpowering aura seeped from her skin, and her skin shimmered as an intense heat began to fill the hallway. Unlike the power of Makuro's sheer violence, this was the power of martial arts. Makuro froze the air around her, and time along with it, but Sakura was generating enough heat to boil space itself as she stood before the Monokumas. With that heat stinging her back, Makuro looked ahead. Hifumi and Chihiro were cautiously peeking from behind the door leading to the dorms, while Oi and Taka kept watch from inside the building. After passing them by, Mundo slowed down the motorcycle as he reached the front of the cafeteria and turned into a complete stop. The other students looked warily at Makuro, but among these students, Makuro noticed two people who weren't regarding her with suspicion. One was Kyoko, who seemed to be studying the situation. The other one was a skinny boy who was leaning against Kyoko's shoulder. Makoto? Makuro's lips began to tremble as she sat on the back of the motorcycle. Ignoring the pain coursing through his body, Makoto smiled at Makuro and repeated what he said to her earlier. I'm glad you're safe, Makuro. Unfortunately, Makuro was unable to realize her hope of filling her little sister with despair. Instead, she had successfully planted the seeds of hope into her fellow students. Seeds of hope. Makoto had barely regained consciousness while Makuro was fighting the horde of Monokumas at the main entrance. When he woke up, he did something extremely simple. He talked about his memories. Most of the students were still skeptical, whatever. Even after listening to Makuro's recorded confession on Chihiro's laptop. Obviously, they were still not entirely convinced at first when Makoto woke up, but after Sakura asked him a certain question, the ambience completely changed. And beyond the walls of the school, the world is completely destroyed. You're saying there's no one else alive? Makoto slowly sat up to answer Sakura's meek question. Don't worry. I'm sure Kenichiro is still safe. I'm sure he'll still keep his promise to you. Sakura gasped. Kenichiro was the only man she couldn't defeat, a man who had promised her a rematch and made her one other promise as well. How do you know that name? How do you know about that promise? Because you told me. No. Makoto slowly corrected himself. You told all of us. Sakura was silent after hearing those words, but she then faced the other students and spoke in a loud, clear voice. I'm going to trust Makoto.
Sakura?
Though Oi was shocked, Sakura continued to speak with determination. What Makoto just said is something I kept locked away inside my memories. In fact, I was planning to keep that a secret until the day I died. But if I shared that secret, that means there was once a strong bond between Makoto and myself. Makoto, myself, and with my fellow students as well. Makoto continued to talk in a gentle
gentle tone.
Though it couldn't have been good for his health, he continued to slowly talk about the memories that the other students no longer had.
And 90T. Yep, I need to heat this up. Oof. Kinda want to eat my food too. I'm gonna eat. Oh no, Mom. This is starting out to be good. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. I'm Mom.
Why do you know about the story I'm planning to write? Are you a specialist Nen user who can predict the future? You already finished that story, Hifumi. You had me help you with thinking.
What? Wait a sec. How do you know I extorted money from that girl related to the Kazuryu clan?
Because you even tried to sell my organs to them? His wounds were excruciating. But even so, Makoto kept smiling and talking about their lives together, as if it was his duty to do so now that he had regained his memories. As the other students listened to him, they slowly began to realize something. The vivid accounts he was providing couldn't be explained as just passing knowledge. Clearly, some kind of bond between them all had been erased. Only Byakuya remained cynical. There's no way I would have grown closer to any of you. It's likely that you are all secretly working together. Though Byakuya was still hostile toward Makoto's recollection of their memories, for the time being he determined that Makoto wasn't actually a terrorist. Makuro had brought enough time for Makoto to wake up and share his memories with the others. Even if she hadn't intended to do that, there was still a small sliver of hope that she grasped tightly.
I'm glad you all are doing well. Hee hee.
And now, as she looked at the boy who had smiled at her, Makura didn't know what to say. She couldn't think of anything to say at all. The battle was over, and Makura was now back to being a disappointing girl. She turned away from everyone's faces and apologetically climbed off the back of the motorcycle. But Makoto saw her and slowly opened his mouth to say, "Thank you, Makura. You saved my life." Makoto gave her words of sincere gratitude between his weak breaths. Makura couldn't bring herself to look at him as she mumbled to herself, "Why? Huh? If Kyoko told you, then you already know what I did, right?" After regaining his memories and learning the truth, Makura should have been nothing but a hated traitor to him. Why would he smile at someone like her? Makura kept her head down. Makoto smiled, as if he was unsure how to respond, and said,
Well, I guess you're right. But you also saved my life many times during these past 2 years. And
Makoto took a deep, quiet breath and smiled at Makuro again.
you are my friend. We all spent time with each other. It would be great if you could look for a different path, and not despair. And if there's any way I can help you, I will.
Do you really think I can walk another path at this point?
I don't know what you can do, or even what I can do. But I think it's more important to look for that path instead of actually finding it.
Hello, Soul Flare! From the land of AU. Good morning!
Was this intentional or coincidence? Just before he regained his memories, Makoto had said something similar to Makuro when she spoke to him in the nurse's office as Junko. Regardless of whether he lost his memories or regained them, those words revealed Makoto's true character. As Makuro confirmed that to herself, Makoto blurted out something that was almost too trusting.
And it's not just you. Even Junko can.
But he was immediately interrupted. Monokuma's face appeared on every monitor in the academy, and his laughter seemed to be coming out of every speaker.
I could have kept pretending to be that ultimate hacker, but it's boring to impersonate someone who doesn't even exist. If this keeps up, I'll lose my identity and turn to Kon Okuma.
Kyoko looked up at the surveillance camera and addressed Monokuma directly. You seem to give up pretty easily.
There isn't a bear anywhere that gives up as easily as I do. Regardless, I'm pretty sure Chihiro has figured out the secret of my control program by now. Just
as I thought, you included that program on purpose. Kyoko realized something when Makuro told her about Junko. There was two reasons such a hateful person would intentionally leave an obvious clue inside the Monokuma units. Either Junko wanted the students to learn the truth about the outside world, and themselves on their own, and turn their hopes into despair. Or she was looking forward to that clue resulting in her own plan being undone, which would allow her to feel despair toward herself. She was an angel of everlasting darkness, delighting in her own despair, and using it to spread despair and destruction to those around her. Why would someone like that continue to play the role of Monokuma?
Actually, I set that program for Chihiro to discover if she happened to be the one of the final 5 survivors. I feel so sad and empty that my preparation was a waste, but I'm going to think about it positively. The word retreat doesn't exist in Monokuma's dictionary.
Nervousness began to grip the students as Monokuma continued talking in his relaxing, uplifting voice.
Now then, it looks like everyone's here, including Toko, who's still tied up in her room. So let's start the heart-throbbing, exciting special graduation exam.
The students broke out in a noisy confusion, but Monokuma ignored them and kept talking.
Don't think about it too hard. Relax, relax. Change relax into Ubert. And all I care, I'll still be the most adorable bear here.
Rupert? What? Byakuya, visibly annoyed with Monokuma's nonsensical rambling, shouted,
I know it's you, Junko. Stop this stupid game and show yourself.
Oh my, don't you know? If you want to lure the mastermind out of her heavenly hidey hole, you need to bring a worthy sacrifice. You're not worthy enough at all. Do you really think the mastermind would show herself for your pathetic hope and despair? Well, ha 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 ha.
An old kid's book, I think. Probably. They make so many references in this game.
It's like crazy.
He roared manically, then began to explain the special graduation exam.
If you pass my exam, everyone will graduate, but if you fail, you'll be held back for a whole year. I'll reset your memories, give you a fresh new lease on life, and you'll reintroduce yourselves at the start of the school year again. They say people's lives don't come with reset buttons, but I'm not a people. Whether it's soft resets or hard resets, I can do as I please.
Yasuhiro seemed confused, but the other students knew what Monokuma meant by reset. He was going to force them to relive their school lives once again. As Yasuhiro struggled to understand, Taka pointed at a nearby monitor and shouted, "Stop this already. No matter what you do to us, we'll never commit murder. These past few days should have already made that clear to you."
That was that?
Jumped Monokuma.
Are you serious?
Of course. No one here would ever take another human being's life for any reason. As Taka shouted, one of the students, a pale-faced girl standing apart from the others, looked away. It was Sayaka. As she trembled, a voice popped up from behind her.
What do you think, Sayaka?
She couldn't even turn around from sheer terror, but Sayaka knew. She knew Monokuma was standing right behind her.
Do you really think none of you will become a killer?
Monokuma leaned toward Sayaka and asked her a question only she could hear.
By the way, Sayaka, why did you go to Makoto's room when nothing strange had happened yet? Did you have an inappropriate relationship? What would your fans think if they found out you made a move on a boy by sneaking into his room? Or were you there for some other reason?
She could barely make a sound, much less scream, as her trembling worsened. Monokuma had nothing to gain by cornering Sayaka and toying with her emotion like this. He simply wanted to see the young singer fall into despair over her true character, and for that reason, Monokuma did not relent.
Hey, what were you trying to do to your close friend you've known for the past 2 years?
Her determination from last night, blended with the memories of Makoto had recounted, and ate away at Sayaka's mind like a disease. As her mind began to rip itself apart, she fell to her knees. A clear ball flying at just under 105 miles per hour struck Monokuma in the mouth, with enough force to sink into his face. The speaker in Monokuma's mouth was immediately destroyed as his body rolled onto a wall and stopped moving. Sayaka came to her senses and looked where the ball came flying from. She saw Leon, breathing heavily, as he stared intensely at Monokuma. Yasuhiro grabbed him and yelled, "Oh, dude, why did you do that, Leon? That crystal ball is really valuable." Leon had stolen Yasuhiro's crystal ball and thrown it at Monokuma. "That Monokuma bastard was trying to take Sayaka hostage. What was I supposed to do?" "Dude, that crystal ball cost me $2 trillion. $2 trillion! They don't even print that much money anymore." "Oh, bullshit. Besides, if the world is all screwed up, what the hell are you gonna need money for anyway? But if it's safe out there, I'll just join the major leagues or whatever and pay you back." Well, I could pay you back doing something else besides baseball." As those two argued, Sayaka fell to her knees. "Hey," shouted Leon, running toward her. "Sayaka, are you okay?" She looked at him and stared blankly.
Leon?
She had made up her mind, and she raised her head as she said,
There's something I need to confess to you later.
"What? Seriously?" Sayaka was staring at Leon so intensely that he briefly forgot about the current situation.
Not just to you, but to Makoto and the others too.
"I know too, truly, and so much." Sayaka had made up her mind to confess the sin that was weighing heavily in her heart, but Leon seemed to not hear the latter half of her remark. He ran back to the others, slapped Wafumi and Yasuhiro on their backs, and shouted, "Alright, everyone, let's ace this exam or whatever and get out of here already. There's no way I'm gonna let my happy memories of this place get taken away." The Monokuma inside the monitor responded,
Fine. Now that things are finally coming to a boil, let's start the graduation exam.
Sakura, who had been outside the dormitory, suddenly appeared with some information.
"The Monokumas in the hallway are acting peculiar."
The students all moved to the main building to see what Sakura was talking about. There, they saw 50 Monokuma standing in 2 rows along the walls of the hallway, and one standing at the very end of the hall. There was something strange on top of this Monokuma's head, and a large version of the escape button that Makoto had obtained from the Monomono machine. As each student took in the sight, an announcement rang through the school.
Yeah, drink more tea.
Yep, I have to heat up this tea though. Ooh, cold tea is not the best. Or even like lukewarm.
The me at the end of the hall has a button on top of his head. They'll open the main entrance. You'll have 15 seconds to get that button, and if you do, I'll let you have it in the place of a diploma.
The student seemed surprised by the straightforward explanation. Only Celeste remained calm, and she asked Monokuma with a bored look on her face. Of course. It is not as simple as running up and taking it, is it?
Oh ho ho, how mean. Do I look the kind of headmaster that would interfere with his students' graduation? Good job. Go away, cat. I love you, but I don't want you to... Go, be free.
Ow! I cut myself.
Anyway. Forget the gunfire salutes. I want to send my graduates off with some fireworks. 100 fireworks to be exact. Enough for 20 seconds of hardcore partying.
The more perceptive students immediately realized what he was talking about. The bombs installed inside each Monokuma. They would explode one after the other, filling the hall with fire as soon as time started.
After 15 seconds, the me standing at the back of the hall is going to sacrifice himself to give you the guys one final firework. By the way, this probably isn't important, but that button is very durable. This graduation exam
was Monokuma's way of saying that he had no intention of letting anyone leave. It was clear from the explosion the students saw during the entrance exam that the halls of Hope's Peak Academy would be bathed in fire. Even if someone was lucky enough to survive the explosions, the burns on their body alone would be enough to send them into a fatal shock. Their lungs might be completely incinerated by scorched air before that. Even if they sacrificed one student to run through, the odds were low that they would even succeed. But there was no reason for every student to run in at once either, and a shadow of despair fell upon their faces.
Nice. Very nice. I almost want to take a picture so I have those faces as a souvenir.
As the Monokuma laughed from behind the monitor, Sakura stepped forward. I'll do it. I have only seen the explosion once, but I believe I'm capable of withstanding its power.
No, shouted Oi. You can't. Even you couldn't handle 100 of those explosions.
Sakura shook her head. I'm the only one who even has a chance. Suddenly, Mondo remembered the motorcycle he parked inside the dormitory and said, Hold up. That motorcycle might be fast enough to go through those explosions. I'll do it. Don't be hasty, urged Sakura. Even if the motorcycle is unharmed by the explosions, that doesn't mean it's right or will be. As Sakura and the others continued their debate, one person stepped forward toward the hallway lined with Monokuma. I'll do it. Makuro, screamed Makoto weakly. Makuro, with her back facing Makoto, turned her head to the side slightly and gave him a small nod. She knew it would come to this. She knew why Monokuma would pose such an impossible exam. Junko is already looking forward to the next despair game. She's going to erase everyone's memories, including mine. She just wants to torment us, and fill us with despair before that happens. But Makuro knew her sister's personality all too well, and that's why she was confident. She knew that the escape button was real. Whenever Junko brought despair to others, she always made sure that there was a possibility that despair would befall her instead. If the students won this gamble and made it through this horrible situation, they would finally escape to the outside world. That outcome would obviously fill Junko with immense despair. In the same way, she left a clue in Monokuma's control program. Junko could not be satisfied unless she took pains to assure her own destruction. It was this quality that made Junko the ultimate despair. That's why Makuro was determined to do it. She knew she was the only person who stood a chance of making that outcome possible, even if she had to risk her own life. But right now, Makuro wanted to live more than anything. She wanted to hold on to this world, a world she had no interest in previously. She didn't even know if this hesitation was disappointing or not, but she wanted to live and continue searching for a new path. A path where she could abandon her submission to despair, where she could accept the sins of the past and continue to live. Makuro, who was known as a war machine, found her heart beset by overwhelming fear and anxiety. Until now, it had never occurred to her that determination was necessary to live. As if she was brushing that fear aside, she quietly said, Thank you, Makoto." Unfortunately, the words she said to the boy who showed her new possibilities never reached his ears. Sakura, however, heard her, and vowed as she said, "If you're planning to sacrifice yourself as an act of penance, I'll stop you with all my power." Though her words were firm, there was unmistakable affection hiding in them. Both girls had dedicated their lives to battle, and yet Makuro felt a twinge of jealousy towards Sakura for possessing something she lacked. Makuro leaned towards Sakura and whispered in her ear, "What? Are you serious?" Sakura's frown intensified. Monokuma's voice blared throughout the halls.
Alright, I'm gonna start the exam now. Ready, set, go!
There was no time for questions or objections. The frontmost Monokuma exploded, sending a roaring wave of heat through the hall. But Makuro didn't look away. She began moving, powered by resolute determination.
Monokuma room!
As soon as the graduation exam started, the mastermind focused her control entirely on the Monokuma holding the escape button, and completely synchronized her field of vision with it. She knew what was going to happen next. She could predict what her sister, Makuro, would do in this exact situation, where she would choose to focus her superhuman skill with weaponry. And so, through Monokuma's eyes, she watched the scene unfold exactly as she had predicted. A pointed metal bar burst through the explosions, heading straight for the weak point of the Monokuma holding the escape button. Specifically, it was aiming for that point where the button's detonation system and Monokuma's power source overlapped. It flew straight and true as if it had been fired by the Master's Archer. In order to bring despair to Monokuma, and by extension Junko as well, the super soldier known as Makuro Ikusaba threw the pipe like a spear so it could pierce the same weak point she had pierced in the nurse's office. As explosions filled the hallway until only fire remained visible, the spear's speed and precision as it soared to its target defied all human logic. But the mastermind knew. She knew Makuro had used her power to fill the world with despair. Power was all that disappointing girl had. But that power was useless against Monokuma. The mastermind had predicted that Makuro would put all her effort into that throw, and Monokuma caught the metal bar perfectly between his hands. The force of the throw knocked Monokuma back several yards, but the pointed end of the bar never pierced through his chest.
Well, that was disappointing.
The mastermind turned to look at a different monitor. She wanted to see the look in Makuro's face when she realized that she had failed to strike Monokuma. The despair of seeing the final Monokuma explode right before her eyes, completely obliterating the escape button. She wanted to sear this memory of her disappointing sister's final moments as her newfound hopes sank into a dark pit of despair. On instinct, she turned her attention to the surveillance camera that hadn't been destroyed, but instead of seeing Makuro and the others, she only saw Sakura, who looked as though she had finished launching an attack. She only thought it was strange for 1 second, but then the hopelessly powerful mastermind completely understood the situation and shifted her point of view, to Monokuma. But because of that single second, Junko would feel just a pang of despair. 3 seconds left. Amid the smoke, flames, and heat encircling the hallway, it burst through with the speed of a cannon shell. It glared at Monokuma with hot, boiling eyes that betrayed the icy expression on its face, and then, sharply, swiftly, strongly. It transformed into a living weapon that cuts through everything, revealing its true form in that hall of despair. 2 seconds left. Monokuma, who was still holding the metal bar in his hand, tried to move, but at the exact moment, the living weapon carved a path through the flames and appeared before him. Its body, which had never been wounded on any battlefield, was sustaining all manner of burns and injuries. But even so, it did not falter. The fire in its eyes never flickered once. 1 second left. The living weapon, Makuro, slammed her knee into the back of a metal bar. Back at the metal bar Monokuma was holding, the sharp tip of that metal bar pierced through Monokuma's through Monokuma like a rail spike, shredding the detonator and his power source into pieces. Time's up. The 100 explosions ceased and smoke blanketed the hallway. Makuro had dived into Monokuma, and the pristine escape button now rested in her hand. She and the other students of Hope Speak Academy had passed the graduation exam. It was only a small amount of despair. Monokuma had tasted it in only 3 seconds.
First floor, hallway.
Junko? Makuro looked down at Monokuma. He could no longer move or self-destruct. When she spoke to him, a static-filled voice emitted from his mouth. It seemed his communication function still worked.
I never expected you to do that.
He still sounded like Monokuma. It seems his voice modulator was unharmed as well.
I must have underestimated you, or overestimated you. I never thought you'd need anybody's help on the battlefield. When I give the signal,
please launch me forward with a roundhouse kick. Makuro whispered those words to Sakura just before the explosion started. After Makuro threw the metal bar, she jumped into the air at the exact moment Sakura unleashed a roundhouse kick. Right when Sakura's foot made contact with her own, Makuro used the force generated by her kick to propel herself at Monokuma. Using the ultimate martial artist's superhuman attack like a springboard, she shot herself through the air like an artillery shell. Enduring intense heat, shrapnel, and blood-draining G-force, she stayed conscious as she charged through the hallway engulfed with explosions and despair. Makuro trusted Junko. She trusted Junko to predict that she'd throw the metal bar and catch it accordingly. Then she tried to look at her face as the despair sets in. The Junko and Oshima she knew would definitely do that. Though Makuro hadn't predicted that her sister would try to kill her with spears of Gungnir, she had a better understanding of her actions now. As Makuro stared at Monokuma in his face. All he could do was laugh scornfully.
you put your life in someone else's hand for a deadly battle. I don't know how I feel about that. You'll always be a half-assed disappointment. I guess this time I'll just say I lost because I didn't see this much disappointing coming. The end.
Makuro shook her head at Monokuma. No, you're wrong, Junko.
Huh?
If you want to talk about winning or losing, I think we lost before we even started. Makuro's eyes shifted from side to side, as if she was unsure of something, and she fidgeted in place as she continued to talk. No matter how much despair they felt, you didn't think they would kill each other the way they were before. That's why you erased their memories. They aren't like the others you forced in the past. You knew these students would never do it. That's what you believed, isn't it?
What are you talking about?
So, it's okay, Junko. I'll bring back everyone's memories someday, and I'll show you everyone's happiness and their bonds. I'll show you all that to you, and fill you with even more despair. Makuro nodded after she said this, as if to cheer her sister up. After several seconds of silence, Monokuma responded.
You finally beat me this one time, and that lame speech is the best you can do. You're such a disappointment. You never fill me with despair, just constant disappointment.
Pouting like a sore loser, Monokuma continued to speak in his usual tone.
But you guys will be back. Now when that happens, I'll invite you guys to a wonderful place. I found out about this fun island while I was running things here.
Monokuma's laughter filled the room before the static finally cut out, and his remains fell silent. He wouldn't be talking again anytime soon. The mastermind was already preparing a new despair to bring to the world and to the students of Hote's Peak Academy, Junko concluded. In the end, the mastermind stayed in her Monokuma persona until the very end, and Junko Enoshima never showed her face again. It was as if she resented the despair Makuro had given her. That thought almost filled Makuro with despair, but when she heard her classmates calling for her, she sealed that despair into the depths of her heart. From now on, she would seal away all her despair. And one day, when she can give Junko the perfect despair, she unleashed all the despair she stored and plunged with her sister into the dark abyss. I won't leave my little sister alone. In the end, that was the first hope disappointing older sister had felt since she was a child. Several hours later, main entrance. I wonder where Makuro is on this picture. Oh, I guess she's just like the Junko. Question mark.
Makuro, are you really going to go out wearing that wig?
After receiving a blood transfusion of the correct blood type, Makuro was beginning to show signs of recovering. Makuro, holding her wig to disguise herself as Junko Enoshima, nodded. If I live as Junko, I might be able to understand her better. Despite that, Makuro's voice still sounded like her own, as if she hadn't fully decided. And I've made up my mind. While I'm out there, I've decided to accept everyone's hatred toward me, and toward Junko. I can't die until I've destroyed all the despair that Junko has spread. The damage that ultimate despair inflicted upon the world could not be measured in terms of money, culture, or even human life. Television broadcasts had already begun informing people that Junko Enoshima and Makuro Ikusaba were the heart of ultimate despair. Among the survivors in the outside world, there are still people who hadn't been tainted by despair yet. Regardless of that fact, the fact that she released Makoto and the others to these survivors, she was nothing more than the reason the world ended. And to the terrorists wearing Monokuma masks who continued to ravage the world, Makuro was nothing but a traitor. She was now in the hopeless situation of being enemies with the most of humanity, but Makuro wasn't making a big deal out of it. I'm going to try not to kill anyone who comes after me for revenge.
Wouldn't it be safer to just turn yourself in?
Wondered Yasuhiro. Well, you might just get executed instead. But you could live to be an old lady if your trial keeps getting pushed back. Makuro slowly shook her head at Yasuhiro. Laws, justice, these things no longer exist.
Is it really that bad out there? Maybe we should just stay in here.
Shit. All the voices, I don't know. Byakuya glared at Yasuhiro with contempt.
Ignorant idiot, just shut up. Your fate won't change whether you stay in here or not.
Though he was shocked to learn that Togami Corporation had been destroyed, Byakuya continued to remain firm and proud, even towards Makuro.
You are a rare asset, continued Byakuya, so I'll let you live for now. Depending on your actions, I may consider forgiving your crimes after I've built a new world.
Only a Togami would boast that they are capable of forgiving the crime of ending the world. You don't need to do that. I don't plan on just surviving. After turning away from Byakuya, Makuro looked at the other students. Everyone was reacting in their own way. Kyoko had a look of quiet preparation. Toko, having just changed back from Genocide Jack, was panicked and confused. Makuro looked back on the 2 years she spent with them, then turned to Makoto, who shared the same memories as her, and gave him the escape button. Makoto, you press it.
Huh, me?
I think it's better if you press it instead of me. As she watched Makoto accept the button with some hesitation, Makuro thought about what Monokuma had said.
You guys will be back.
Makuro knew that Monokuma was telling the truth. After all, the file the students needed to fully restore their memories remained hidden in the academy. The research notes of Yasuke Matsuda, the ultimate neurologist. His research is the key to restoring everyone's memories. Even if the students no longer have their memories, they may be able to repair the bonds they had built among themselves over the past 2 years. But as long as their memories remain unrestored, the mastermind could still repeat her deadly plan. Although the island mentioned earlier sounded strange, Students could not turn their backs on the despair facing them.
Then, let's go.
Makoto remembered everything that was happening in the outside world. The boy who had chosen to remain inside the academy 2 years ago was now choosing to leave. How much did he struggle to come to that decision? But he was determined to face the despair awaiting him outside, and hid his internal conflict from the others. By protecting Makoto's hope, Makuro would bring despair to her beloved sister. But she no longer knew if the end result of her goal would lead to hope or despair. She pulled the wig over her head and hid her face with her hands. Was she smiling because hope was waiting for her? Or was she crying because her path would lead to despair? When she lowered her hands, her face was devoid of all emotion. Makuro no longer knew what expression she would wear on her face. At the same time, Makoto pressed the escape button. A siren began to wail as the turrets retracted into the ceiling. From beyond the heaving door, a bright light appeared. An infinite number of ifs, and all the possibilities contained therein, encased the world. Accepting everything, hope, despair, and even the feelings of that disappointed girl, Makuro Ikusaba. I like how they're all there. They're all fucking there. Aww, this is a good ending in my opinion. I know it's an alternate ending, and it's not like... It's just a light novel of like, what if... Let's do. Everyone's alive. And I'm like, yeah, everyone's alive. Are they alive though? Hey! Hooray! We did it. We finished it. We finished it. Yeah, it's like a cute little ending. I was like, whoa, cute endings. Wow. I don't know, I liked it. I liked it because it's just like, you know, what if? Yeah, Makuro was good. I'm sad that, like, in the actuality, this is just a lie. It's just like, oh, what if actually all that despair and shit that never happened in the other games, you know, just didn't happen?
What if, like, you know, nobody died? No one was filled with despair. What if it's just like, you know, happiness?
And in the end, it's just like, nope. Nope. Never gonna happen.
Welcome to Dongun Island. Yippee-ki-yay!
I love her so much. I had to make 10 flower pins. Who has time for this? Who has time for this? Who has time to make fucking 10 flower pins? I need seashell, green flower, and a red flower. Let's get some of this done. What was it? What do we need again? We need a lot of stuff.
Death Grim Reaper, thank you for the 5 months. Woo! That's amazing. Thank you, friendo. Looked at amazing. Ting 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 ting. Wah.
We have to clean. Oh shit, we do have to clean. Okay, clean. I'll let you clean. I'll let you clean. God, you just need to get a lot of stuff in general. Ugh, I hate that we have to get a lot of stuff. No, you go to sleep.
Cause it's just like there's so much stuff to get, and I'm like, kill me. You don't deserve this life. Wait, no, go sleep, cause you're gonna die. Da 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 ba ba ba. Hopefully this is clean enough. Give me emotes now. Whee! One day I'll give you guys emotes. I need to get like a tablet pen. I need to get so many things. My guys, my dudes. There's so many things. Need money to get a tablet pen. Money to get stuff. I'm actually kind of glad that it's like winter because then my computer won't overheat. I don't want to live like this anymore.
This is going nowhere.
I'm tired. I'm gonna take a long rest. Do you guys pass out or something? What would you like to do? Go meet with somebody. Who we got ready now? I forgot. Who are we hanging out with now? Who is free? Oh god, we could... Nakamaru! Nakamaru is like a good boy. We should find him. Where are you, Nakamaru? No, not Taro. Taro is not. Taro is not. He is not good. Well, he's good, but he's not good. Nakamaru! Would you like to hang out with this guy? Yes. Nakamaru. The die. Free time. 'Cause I forgot how his things goes. Sorry, there's like a lot of things on here. There's so many things. I'm just like getting distracted. Oh! Okay, what do you like? Let's spend some time together. I spend so much time with everybody.
I see.
So are you promising that you actually want to spend some quality time with me?
What is it?
Well, now that that's decided, let's deepen our friendship. Oh, okay.
I spent some time talking to Nakamaru about various things.
Looks like Nakamaru and I grew a little closer. Would you like to give him a fucking present? Fuck yeah.
What would you like to give him? I don't know. Coconut. No, we don't have coconut. Fresh bindings! Take this!
Oh,
I've rightfully received your male spirit. If you want, I'll accept you as well. Come on, bring it on! Hey. Oh shit.
Hey, Nakamaru. I gotta be honest with you. I don't really understand, but...
No worries, everyone's like that at first. You don't have to be scared. I'm not going to hurt you. Come on, lay down over there.
Hold on. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about it, obviously. You do want me to do it to you, right?
No. I just wanted to ask you what you do as a team manager.
jeez.
Oh, that's what it is. You should have said so earlier.
You didn't let me.
So what I mean is...
Let's see. Basically, it's my job to take care of the athletes so they can give it their all. The technique varies for each sport, but every top athlete needs 3 essential things:
Huh?
physical fitness, visual acuity, and willpower. If an athlete wishes to straighten these 3 essentials, then it's my job to prepare a solid and effective training regimen for them. A lot of the science behind the training is based off principles of sports medicine. It's a real challenge to bring out the maximum potential of each individual athlete.
Hold on.
What? You look surprised.
No, it's nothing.
You gave me such a serious answer. I don't really know what to say.
However, what I told you just now is simply what every manager does.
What is it?
My special weapon is these fingers.
What's up with your fingers?
With the tips of these fingers, I can instantly relax tense muscles and promote maximum blood circulation. And I can push out intravenous toxins like a waterfall and restore to fatigue in an instant. As long as they're in my hands, each of my athletes can continue with their training and competitions. Ooh. That's right, even until they die. This is it. Truly, this original massage technique is my ultimate weapon.
Ultimate weapon? So he was referring to it as it in order to censor it?
But isn't it dangerous to keep training when your body's exhausted?
Oh?
Oof, need some tea?
Since you're not the one standing on the battlefield, it's understandable that you would think that. For some reason, forfeiting in the middle of match is a greater loss than death. During my training, I even met a clan of warrior women in the mountains who had such feudal tendencies.
Huh?
Ah, how nostalgic. Like you said, it may be a world that I don't really understand. Oh shit. But at least now, I understand how important you are to your athletes.
I see.
Hey, Hajime.
Oh,
You know just what to say to put me in a good mood. How would I give you a super version of it right now? No thanks. Afterward, though, he kept getting a little too close to my personal space. I spent time with Nekomaru for a bit. Oh my god, Nekomaru. Just wanted to give them massages. I parted ways with Nekomaru and left the area.
Everyone, it's nighttime. Please get plenty of rest so you can do your very best again tomorrow. Good night.
Oh no, oh shit, oof. I'm like battling with...
Everyone.
Today is your day off. Okay, dismissed.
Nice. What would you like to do? I wonder where's somebody.
Who should I talk to?
There's so many to choose from. Yeah, you love me. I like when you look at their his thing. It's like fucking crazy Nagito. Fuck. You know what? February 22nd is like, I think it's the 22nd or 21st. It's my cousin's birthday. March 14th? Man, it was the is it? I think that's my grandmother's birthday. God, it's January 1st. That's so weird. Man, that must be interesting to have your birthday on like New Year's.
Hello, cute little tiny little baby.
I can get all of them. I can get so many.
So many.
Okay, let's do down Nekomaru. What'd you like to do? Let's spend some fucking time together.
No, he's good because he has little Baymax faces on his collar.
I mean, I guess so.
what is it?
I guess so.
We spent time talking about various things. What would you like to do? Fucking give him a present. Fuck yeah. Okay, where is it? Looks like a catamount. Give you some fresh binding. Wow, this is... Why do you have this? No questions. My friend, you have my gratitude from the bottom of my heart. He looks like he's in deep thought. I hope he's not thinking about anything dangerous. I've decided. It might be easier to talk to you about it since you're not an athlete. It may run a little long, but can you listen to my story? Yeah, I don't mind. I see. Do you remember what you asked me before about why I'm a team manager? At the time, I didn't know how passionate you were about it.
However,
A long time ago, I asked myself that very same question. To be honest, I was born with a heart defect. The doctor told me I would only live to be 20 at most. Because of that, I never got to play sports when I was growing up. I didn't even participate in PE either. I didn't know you went through something like that. I can't imagine that happening to you now.
sheesh.
I was teased a lot when I was young too. My childhood consisted of being unable to make friends and frequent trips to the hospital. However, on one particular day, I was put in the same room as this boy by coincidence, and it completely changed my life. Like me, the boy had similar illness. He made frequent trips to the hospital too. But there was one key difference between that boy and me. Someone always came to visit him. He would have fun conversations, and sometimes very serious ones. From what I could overhear, the boy was a team manager for a baseball team. His athletes were visiting him. Then, what you said to that boy was...
Sheesh.
I asked him why he would do something like that. At the time, I didn't understand it at all. I mean, he couldn't even play baseball with them. But then he said this to me. Even though I can't play baseball with them, I can still share their victory and defeat with them.
That's what it means to be a team manager. You have a duty to support your team. Especially if you can't be on the field with them.
But, in the end, he died in the hospital without ever seeing his team win. Perhaps he worked himself too hard gathering stats for the sake of that important game. Or maybe he already knew he didn't have much time to begin with. Honestly, don't know. So, I decided to take all the stats he risked his life gathering for the sake of his team. My very first job as a team manager was leading that boy's team to victory. After that, I threw myself into various sports. Before I even realized it, my body had become incredibly tough. To the point where it's too tough. But even so, I'm proud of being a team manager.
So, that's why. But why did you decide to tell me that?
I don't know. Oh, I don't really understand it myself, but maybe I just wanted to tell someone. The same way that boy taught me. As long as you have friends who have your back, you'll be able to clear a path to the future without giving up. And so I spent time today talking to Nekomaru about various things. He gave me a lot of valuable advice from his manager's perspective. It reminded me of just how great he is.
Level up. Welcome back to Vol.
I parted ways with Nekomaru and returned alone.
What would you like to do? Hang out with someone. Who should I talk to? The same fucking person.
This room was done. Woo! Nekomaru. Whenever I hear Nekomaru, I think of like Nekomaru Satsuma. And I'm like, Inuyasha life. Inuyasha life.
I see.
And it's like, what the heck?
What is it?
Let's deepen our friendship, my boy. I spent time talking to Nekomaru about various things. Looks like Nekomaru and I gotta get a little closer. You wanna give him a fucking present? Fuck yeah, I wanna give him a present. What kind of present are you gonna give him? Well, you know, I got this thing right here. It's like, oh, cool. Oh, I received your male spirit. Fuck yeah. I loved it.
Hey, Nekomaru. Aren't you scared? You seem very calm. Even in this situation, it's like you have this unwavering presence of mind.
Well, it's my duty to support my athletes after all. There's no way a manager should be more concerned than his athletes.
I see. You're amazing. I'm no good at all. It's like I'm thinking about way too many things. And the more I think about it, I still don't know what to do.
Alright, I've decided. Decided what? From this point on, I'll be the official manager for all of you. If we win this match by working together to leave this island, then I'll give it my all to support each and every one of you.
Nekomaru.
Alright, now that it's decided, let's begin the special training. No matter what, basic physical fitness always comes first. In this situation, you'll need muscles to survive. As long as you're armed with muscles, you won't die so easily. Armed with muscles? Is that something you can get in a single day? But I guess it's better to stay active than standing around worrying all day.
Got it. If that's what you intend to do, then I'll prepare myself for the worst. So, what should I start with first?
Huh?
Let's see. Based on your current fitness level, run 10 laps around the first island. 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups.
Well, I think I can manage to do that.
And after you've done that 50 times, do 3 sets of 12-mile-long distance swimming.
That's clearly impossible.
It's my job to make the impossible possible. Don't worry, even if you get worn out, I'll do it to you every time. In fact, let's do that first to fire things up. Come on, get naked, and lay down right there.
Hold on. Why do I have to get naked?
Don't worry about it. I just feel like it, that's all.
You just feel like making me get naked?
Jeez, all this talking. You're too noisy. Just shut up and listen to your manager.
Hey, wait, whoa.
Before I could say anything, Nekomaru's massage had started. This is... I kinda understand how this might be... addicting.
How is it? Feels good, right? It's amazing. My body feels extremely light. Right? Thanks to this, you now have a body that can't live without me. I don't really want to admit it, but it doesn't matter anymore. For some reason, I really feel like working out. Now then, let's start the training.
There's no need to worry. I'll definitely let you win this match. Come on, let's go!
I endured an impossible amount of training while Nekomaru offered me advice. The more I worked out, the more I noticed that something sleeping inside me was being awakened. With that came an optimistic feeling. It's probably because of the strong bond Nekomaru and I formed with each other. We will definitely escape from here, all of us.
Hey, we did it with great massages. Nekomaru's report card has been updated. He has unlocked the power of life and death. Give yourself a pat on the back. A pat. You've earned it. You have obtained Nekomaru's undies. You can check them out on the present menu.
After I finished training, I left the area.
God, I'm so strong now. Everyone, it's nighttime. Please get plenty of rest so you can do your very best again tomorrow. Good night. Ayy.
Our places are still filthy.
I feel so pumped that I can probably make like 100 songs.
Ibuki seems to be feeling pretty good.
Since you're all working so hard, here you go. Okay, have a nice day.
That was fun. We're just... Woo. Oh no, everyone's like dead. I should revive you. Well, I guess... Yeah, I think that's all we have right here. Okay, what do we need? Green flower, red flowers. Oof. Not fucking clean. Oh, no, she's out of commission. Days until arrival 2? What? I thought I put you to sleep, lady. God, this is disappointing. She passed out. She gone. Hopefully this works. Oh shit, no. Clean. Let's go meet with some person. Who we gonna meet up with? I think I have an idea. Wrong button. I'm gonna hang out with one more person and then we're done for today. We're streaming. Oh man, we're so stuck. Oh no, we're stuck. There's so many. Let's do Akane. Let's do Akane. Akane! Would you like to hang out with Akane? Fuck yeah! Let's do it! Let's do it, let's do it. Earth's island. It's full of mysteries. There might be a tower that reaches the heavens or a strong dude sealed up in an electric door. Alright, doesn't sound It doesn't matter what it is. Let's go find it. They say the world is full of treasure.
I spend time today getting dragged around by Akane while we search for treasure. Akane, your face. Looks like Akane and I grew a little closer. Would you like to give Akane a present? Fuck yeah. That's so weird. What would you like to give her? Give her this thingy. Because for some reason she likes this. Can I really have this? You're such a nice guy. As long as I've got this, my body will be like stainless steel. Hey you. You're like really small. Harvey?
It's Hajime.
Alright, that's it. I was close enough. Anyway, are you even eating?
I don't really have much of an appetite, but I am eating regularly.
I see then, it's okay. Whenever I see small things that don't look like they're eating much, I can't help feeling worried. You can't survive if you don't eat when you can, you know?
Well, it's true that eating is necessary, but aren't you going a little overboard?
Wait.
Of course not. That's normal back home.
Hey, Akane. I've been wondering about this for a while, but about your home.
What?
It's not that big of a deal. The only major difference is that I have about 7 little brothers and sisters, and my parents don't work.
The only thing? What the heck?
You know how every time you get a new mom or dad, you get a new siblings too? Well, that's why I don't really know exactly how many siblings I have.
No, that's really messed up.
Then you took on part-time jobs to help support your family?
Yep, I gotta feed the little ones, you know.
Yo.
When I had my waitressing gig, I'd sometimes borrow leftovers to bring home. I got paid an hourly wage, and I also got tips too, which was pretty sweet. Oh, and I got to keep my panties on too. I didn't let customers motorboat me either.
Of course.
Huh?
Why are you so mad?
I mean, you're a girl. Don't talk about keeping your panties on so casually.
Oh, I see. Sorry?
No, I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have asked such personal questions.
This is so awkward.
Yo.
Huh, I remember now. I've been yelled at like this before. Back when I was waiting tables, there was this weird old dude who used to come in all the time. He was a gymnastics coach. I wasn't really into sports, and especially not gymnastics. But no matter how much I punched and kicked him, he was really persistent. In fact, he looked like he was enjoying it. He kept telling me I had an amazing body. He was seriously a gross old dude. But thanks to him, I was able to move out with my siblings and find a new home for us.
I see. Well, I think that's good enough.
Yeah. I think I'm gradually starting to understand Akane a little bit. Bay there. Yep.
Oh, look at that card. Woo. After standing around awkwardly for a bit, I left the area.
I'm like, boy. Like, weird things happen.
Everyone, it's nighttime. Please get plenty of rest so you can do your very best again tomorrow. Oh, good night.
Good night. Everything got dirty again.
All right.
Today I feel pretty awesome.
Sonia seems to be feeling pretty good. Still though, just like, what?
Everything's all crazy and stuff. Oh man, I gotta do the things. Do I have to though? I don't. I just go to the button book. Yeah. There's a guitar pet. She fine.
Okay, this is the end of the stream. And also where I'm gonna announce something. And the stream. Boop, boop.
Today's a short stream also.
That's the end. Woo! There's also a thing I have to announce. So I now have a Discord. Yay! Oh, tiny baby Discord. Oh, tiny baby Discord for me. No, just for people to join, which I'm gonna post now. And stuff. I'll probably I had to explain this to peeps and stuff. Now I guess I'll just explain it to again. It's gonna be like a little private Discord, because if it was a public one, I think I might scream. So I'm only gonna open it up every now and then for people to join. There are rules to be read and stuff, and hopefully everybody will be like little positive little potatoes and stuff. And yeah, so you know, just gonna leave the link in here. If you guys want to join, you guys can join. Just remember to read the rules and do all other stuff. Yay! Yeah. So hopefully I'll figure out more stuff for the stream and stuff to do. La 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 la. Yeah. Hopefully you all enjoy my little Discord, my little stream. Hope you all enjoyed it too. Yeah. Enjoy it. Woo. Why can't I grab that code no more? Ba-na-na-na. Ba. 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 Na-na-na. So I'm gonna copy the little link. I'll post it right here. Boom! There goes my little Discord. So remember, it's a closed little Discord. That means it's not open for everybody to join. And I'll only open it up every now and then. So yeah, for people to join, because too many people and my brain starts to explode. So just like slowly, like I'm gonna just gradually add more people. Yay! So hopefully people join, have fun. Wow. Now I don't know when the next time I'm gonna open it, but yeah, this will probably be the only day right now that I open it up to people. So huzzah! Hooray for private Discord, cause social anxiety. Yeah, thank you all for joining me for the stream and stuff. Hopefully I see you guys again another day. Sorry I was short. My movies hurts, and there's always so much like tea to do before I'm like. Bleh. But yeah, everybody, thank you all for joining. Bye bye. 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 Ugh, I need to get more food in me. I'm like starving. I'm like, but I already had a bowl of soup, and I'm like, soup is just not enough food, you know? Has anyone noticed that? It's like, soup is just not enough food. Doesn't even matter. It's like, you need to have like more than just soup. Like, you have to have like more like stuff in that soup. And even then, it's just not enough. Unless it's like shabu shabu. For some odd damn reason, shabu shabu is just like so filling. But I think it's because, like, you know, they use the soup to cook, not to like really eat. I don't know. Soup's just not enough. Soup's never enough. I don't know. I'm hungry. I need more food. Bye. See you all next time. Bye. I'm being taken away. Bye.